There's a moment that arrives quietly, usually somewhere past 60, when you wake up and realize something has shifted. Not dramatically, nothing broken, nothing gone wrong, but a sense that carrying certain things has become heavier than it used to be. Maybe it's an old friendship that feels more draining than nourishing. Perhaps it's the weight of expectations you've carried for decades, like stones in your pockets you forgot were there. Or it might be the clutter, not just the objects filling your closets, but the regrets filling your mind, the comparisons stealing your peace. The Buddha understood this deeply. 25 centuries ago, he taught something both simple and profound. Suffering arises from clinging, and peace comes from letting go. Not because attachment is wrong, but because everything in life is impermanent. What we grasp will inevitably change or disappear. Here's what many of us discover after 60. Happiness no longer comes from what we add to our lives. It comes from what we finally find the courage to release. Today, we'll explore 7 burdens that many of us carry into our later years, burdens the Buddha taught us we never needed to bear. These aren't just Buddhist concepts, they're practical wisdom for everyday living, invitations to walk lighter, breathe easier, and reclaim the inner peace that's been waiting beneath all that heaviness. So, settle in. What we'll discover together isn't about loss, it's about liberation. Part 1. Toxic relationships. The weight of people who drain your spirit. After 60, time becomes the most precious gift you have. Every hour spent with someone who exhausts your heart is an hour stolen from your life, not by them, but by your own unwillingness to protect what matters most. The Buddha was clear about this. He spoke of something called spiritual friendship, the companions who support your peace and growth. He said that good friendship is actually the whole of the spiritual life, because the people we keep close shape the very quality of our minds. Think about it this way. Your heart is like a garden. Every relationship is a seed. Some blossom into flowers of kindness and joy. Others grow into weeds of resentment and fatigue. If you let the weeds overrun the soil, no flowers can survive. There's a traditional Buddhist story about this. A monk asked his teacher, "Must I love everyone equally?" The teacher smiled and said, "You can wish peace for all beings, but you need not invite everyone to tea." The Buddha taught that non-attachment doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we care without clinging. You can hold compassion for someone from a distance. You can send them kindness in your heart while also saying, "This relationship no longer serves my peace." I once knew a woman named Eleanor, 73, who described it beautifully. For years, she hosted weekly dinners for her extended family. But one evening, after cleaning up alone while everyone left without helping, she sat at her empty table and whispered to herself, "I'm tired of being the only one who shows up for me." The next week, she called and said simply, "I need some time for myself." Her daughter was upset. Her sister felt rejected. But Eleanor held steady. "I realized," she told me months later, "that I'd been teaching people how to treat me by accepting treatment that drained me dry." This is what the Buddha called upeksha equanimity, the balance of caring deeply while knowing when to step back. Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you love with open hands instead of clenched fists. Ask yourself gently, who in your life leaves you feeling lighter? Who leaves you feeling heavy? After a conversation with them, do you feel energized or exhausted? Your body knows. Your heart knows. You don't need to cut people off with anger. You don't need to explain yourself endlessly. Sometimes peace begins with a necessary distance. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do for yourself and for them is to simply create space. At this stage of life, you've earned the wisdom to say, "I wish you well," but I also choose my peace, because every breath you have left is too precious to spend defending yourself from people who should be nurturing you. Part 2. Releasing the expectation that others will make you happy. Have you ever found yourself waiting? Waiting for your children to call, waiting for recognition, waiting for someone, anyone, to finally see you, appreciate you, bring you the joy you've been seeking? The Buddha had profound wisdom about this. In one of his final teachings, lying on his deathbed, he told his devoted attendant, "Be a lamp unto yourself, be your own refuge, seek for no other." These words aren't harsh, they're liberating. He understood that true happiness cannot be manufactured by someone else. It can only be cultivated within. Think of it this way. If you wait for someone else to light your lamp, you may sit in darkness forever. But if you strike the match yourself, the flame is yours. And once lit, that flame illuminates not just your life, but can gently light the way for others too. I once spoke with a retired teacher named Thomas, 78. After his wife passed and his children moved across the country, he found himself staring at empty rooms and silent phones. "At first, I waited," he said. "Waited for visits that rarely came. Waited for someone to rescue me from loneliness. But then something shifted. He began taking morning walks, not for exercise, but to notice the way light moved through trees, the conversations at the corner cafe. He started writing again, something he'd loved at 20 but abandoned at 30. I realized," he told me, "that joy wasn't going to arrive at my door. I had to go meet it." This doesn't mean we don't need people. Connection remains essential, but there's a difference between enjoying someone's presence and depending on them for your peace. The Buddha taught something called metta, loving kindness. We often practice it toward others, but here's what many forget. Metta must begin with ourselves. Try this simple practice. Place your hand on your heart, close your eyes, whisper gently, "May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I find joy from within." This isn't selfish. This is self-compassion, recognizing that you are worthy of your own tenderness. When you stop expecting others to bring you happiness, something miraculous happens. Relationships become lighter. Your children feel less pressure. Friends feel less burden. And often, they return with more genuine love, not from obligation, but from delight in your newfound lightness. Happiness after 60 isn't received. It's created moment by moment, choice by choice. A cup of morning tea savored slowly, a garden tended with care, a book that stirs your heart. These aren't small things, they're everything. As the Buddha wisely said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." Part 3. The liberation of forgiveness, releasing regret. Close your eyes for a moment and think of the one memory that still haunts you. The word you never said, the apology you never gave, the choice that, if you could turn back time, you would undo in a heartbeat. Do you feel that tightness in your chest? That's regret. And for many people past 60, regret has become the heaviest burden they carry, heavier than any physical weight, more exhausting than any illness. The Buddha spoke often about this using a powerful teaching called the second arrow. The first arrow is the pain of what happened. The second arrow is our refusal to let it go. The event is over, but we pierce ourselves again and again by replaying it, by carrying the stone of past mistakes, as if that weight could somehow change what was. There's a Buddhist parable that speaks to this beautifully. A woman named Kisa Gotami came to the Buddha carrying her dead child, begging for medicine to bring him back. The Buddha told her gently, "Bring me a mustard seed from a home that has never known death." She went from house to house. Every family had lost someone, a parent, a child, a friend. By the time she returned, she understood. Suffering is woven into the fabric of all human life. We are not alone in our pain. We all carry loss, mistakes, and regret. But here's what the Buddha taught. Letting go doesn't mean denying what happened. It means learning the lesson without carrying the punishment forever. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with stones, one for every mistake, every harsh word, every opportunity missed. How heavy would that pack be after 70 years? And what would happen if you simply set it down? I remember Margaret, 81, who spent decades unable to forgive herself for missing her mother's final days. "I was busy with work," she whispered, tears falling. "I thought there would be more time." During our conversation, I asked her gently, "If your mother could speak to you now, what would she say?" Margaret went quiet, then barely audible. She'd tell me to stop punishing myself. She'd tell me she forgave me long ago. "Then perhaps," I said softly, "it's time you forgave yourself too." The Buddha taught that the past is gone, the future isn't here yet, only this moment is real. If you waste this moment replaying regrets, you sacrifice the only reality you actually have. Here's a simple practice. Write down one regret on a piece of paper. Read it aloud. Then say quietly, "I release you. I forgive myself. I choose to walk forward lighter." Some people burn the paper. Others bury it in their garden. The ritual matters less than the intention. I am letting go. The truth is this: you cannot return to change the past. But you can choose, here and now, to live differently, to be kinder, to speak more gently, to love more openly. That is the true redemption of regret, transforming it into compassion in the present moment. As the Buddha said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." Life after 60 is too short, too precious, to be spent dragging corpses of yesterday. What's gone is gone. What remains is sacred. Live it fully. Part 4. The illusion of too late. There's a voice that whispers inside many hearts past 60. It's too late for me now. Too late to change. Too late to begin again. Too late to dream. That voice, though familiar, is a liar. The Buddha taught something called anicca impermanence. Everything changes, constantly. Every moment is born fresh and new. You are not the same person you were yesterday, or even an hour ago. If everything is in constant flux, how could it ever truly be too late? As long as you're breathing, life is still offering you chances. Each inhale is renewal. Each exhale is release. There's a Zen story about an elderly monk who continued sitting in meditation every morning, even though his body had grown frail. A young student asked, "Master, at your age, why do you still practice?" The old monk smiled. "Because I am alive, and life does not stop teaching until the final breath." I think of Ruth, 76, who told me she'd always wanted to paint, but believed she had no talent. After her husband died, the silence in her house became unbearable. One day, she bought watercolors and cheap paper from the grocery store. "I painted terribly at first," she laughed. "Still do, probably. But something happened when I held that brush. Time disappeared. The loneliness disappeared. I wasn't thinking about what I'd lost. I was creating something new." Her small apartment now bursts with color sunsets, gardens, portraits of her grandchildren. "I don't care if anyone else likes them," she said. "They make me happy. That's enough." This is what the Buddha meant by beginner's mind approaching life with fresh eyes, without the burden of needing to be perfect or get it right. You don't need permission to begin. You don't need anyone's approval. The only question that matters is, what would bring my heart alive? Maybe it's learning an instrument. Maybe it's finally writing letters to your grandchildren. Maybe it's something as simple as sitting by your window each morning with tea, watching the world wake up, and calling that your meditation practice. The Buddha once told the story of a monk who reached enlightenment just days before his death. Was it too late for him? No. Even a single moment of liberation outweighs a lifetime of delusion. So, why should you believe your time has passed? As long as awareness arises, awakening is possible. Think of those who say, "I am too old to learn." Are they not already dying before death comes? But those who say, "I will live fully today," no matter their age, are already free. So let me turn the question back to you. What dream have you buried under the excuse of too late? Is it learning an art, traveling somewhere sacred, reconciling with someone you loved, or simply deepening your practice sitting in meditation, tasting peace? What if you began today? What if instead of telling yourself it was too late, you asked, "Why not now?" The Buddha said, "Do not put off until tomorrow what can be done today. For tomorrow may never come. The past is gone. The future is uncertain, but today the present is alive." The belief that it's too late is not truth. It's fear, fear of failure, fear of wasted effort. But the Buddha taught that fear is only another form of clinging to reputation, clinging to comfort, clinging to identity. Release the clinging, and the fear dissolves. Picture this: an old monk sweeping leaves in the monastery courtyard. A passerby asks, "Why do you sweep every day when more leaves fall each night?" The monk smiles. "Because each day deserves its own clarity. That is the secret. You may not change everything, but each day you can bring clarity, peace, and meaning. And that is enough." At 70, at 80, even at 90, the point is not how much time you have. The point is how you use the time given. One mindful breath can be more profound than 70 distracted years. One act of kindness can heal wounds carried for decades. One new step can begin a journey, no matter when it starts. So, release this illusion. It is not too late. It is never too late. Every dawn is a new invitation. Every breath is a new beginning. Every heartbeat is a call to live. The Dharma does not measure your worth by your age, but by your awareness. And awareness can bloom at any moment. Take a breath with me now. Inhale, feel the freshness of this instant. Exhale, feel the past dissolve. Again, inhale, a beginning. Exhale, release. With each breath, the story of too late collapses. With each breath, life says, "Now, now, now." So, step into the now. Begin where you are. Live as if this moment were your first and your last, because in truth it is both. And in that paradox lies the freedom of awakening. Part 5. Comparison, the thief of joy. Have you ever looked at someone younger and felt a pang in your chest? Not just admiration, but a quiet ache, a whisper that says, "That used to be me." The Buddha taught that comparison is one of the most subtle forms of suffering. When we measure ourselves against others, or even against our younger selves, we step out of reality and into a story that can never satisfy us. There's a traditional teaching about this. A young monk once complained to his teacher, "The other monks are faster, stronger, more disciplined. I feel inadequate." The teacher took him to the garden. "Look at these flowers," he said. "Does the rose compare itself to the lotus? Does the bamboo envy the cherry blossom? Each grows according to its own nature, in its own time. At 60, 70, 80, you are not meant to be who you were at 30. You are meant to be who you are now. And who you are now carries treasures no young body can hold. Think about what you've gained through all these years. Patience born from trials, perspective born from change, gratitude born from seeing how fragile life is. At 20, we rush. At 40, we strive. But at 70, if we allow it, we can finally rest. We can walk slowly enough to see the flower at our feet. We can listen deeply enough to hear the silence beneath the noise. I knew a woman named Clara who stopped going to her neighborhood exercise class. Not because I couldn't keep up, she explained, but because every time I watched the younger women move, I compared my body to theirs. I turned my effort into disappointment. After some time away, she returned, not to prove anything, but to move simply for the joy of moving. Now I don't compare my pace to theirs, she smiled. I celebrate that my body, with all its years, still carries me at all. That is wisdom, to witness the beauty of youth without turning it into your loss. The Buddha reminded us, comparing yourself with others only disturbs the mind. The same is true when comparing yourself with your past. You are not meant to be who you were. You are meant to be who you are now. When you stop measuring your present against yesterday, life softens. Time becomes a companion, not an enemy. And in that peace, a new invitation emerges, to forgive yourself for what you thought you lost, and to embrace what you have found. Think of a mountain. At the base, the air is thick, the forest dense. At the middle, the climb is hard, the rocks sharp. At the summit, the air is thin, clear, vast. Each stage has its trials, but only at the summit do you see the whole landscape. Aging is the summit. Why envy those still struggling through the forest when you have reached the view? The Buddha himself aged, his body bent, his health declined, but his compassion grew deeper, his wisdom shone brighter. He did not compare himself to his younger disciples. He accepted the truth of impermanence, and in that acceptance, he was free. So how do you let go of comparison? Begin by noticing it. The next time envy arises, pause. Ask, what story am I telling myself? That youth is better? That old age is worse? Then challenge that story. Ask, is it true, or is it just clinging? Then release it with the breath. Inhale, see the envy. Exhale, let it go. And then practice gratitude. Gratitude for your survival, your resilience, your perspective. Gratitude for the chance to live through joys and sorrows the young have not yet known. Comparison shrinks your life. Gratitude expands it. Comparison blinds you. Equanimity clears your vision. So remember this truth. You are not supposed to be who you were at 30. You are supposed to be who you are now. And who you are now carries treasures no young body can hold. Let go of comparison, and you will find peace. Let go of envy, and you will find freedom. Look at the young, not with resentment, but with kindness. Bless them as they walk the road you have already traveled. And then continue your own road with dignity, wisdom, and joy. Part 6. Clutter, physical and emotional. Look around your home. Look at the closets that no longer close, the drawers that groan under forgotten things, the shelves filled with objects that once seemed important but now gather only dust. Each of these objects whispers silently to you, remember me, keep me. You might need me someday, but do you? Or are they simply chains disguised as possessions? The Buddha taught that attachment to form is one of the great sources of suffering. Every item we cling to, every relic of the past we cannot release, becomes a subtle weight on the heart. You may not feel it consciously, but deep down, clutter breeds restlessness. Too many things cloud the mind. Too many memories stacked on shelves prevent the spirit from breathing freely. Imagine walking through a crowded room filled with furniture piled high. Every step is careful, cautious, restricted. This is how clutter shapes the inner world. It forces us to step around, to tiptoe, to shrink our movements, and as the room is crowded, so the mind becomes crowded. No space for new insights, no room for stillness, no doorway for peace. But clutter is not only physical, it is emotional. It is the grudges we carry against those who wronged us. It is the regret we keep like a secret wound. It is the words we never spoke and the apologies we never gave. These are not objects in closets, but they fill the inner house of the heart. They sit in dark corners, collecting dust, spreading shadows. Have you noticed how heavy regret feels? It is like dragging a chest of stones wherever you go. Have you noticed how holding a grudge poisons even sweet moments, like a drop of ink clouding a clear glass of water? Emotional clutter is more dangerous than physical clutter because it shapes the very way we see the present. The Buddha spoke of this as the second arrow. The first arrow is the pain of what has happened. The second arrow is our refusal to release it. The event is over, but we replay it again and again, piercing ourselves with memories. That is clutter of the heart. So how do we let go? Begin with awareness. Walk through your home and ask, does this object serve my peace, or does it bind me to the past? If it binds, release it, give it away, free yourself, and let it bring use to someone else. Each item released is like cutting a thread that held you down. The more you cut, the lighter you become. Do the same with the heart. Look at the grudges you carry. What purpose do they serve? Do they heal the past? Do they change what happened? Or do they only poison the present? The Buddha said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Forgiveness is not about denying the hurt. It is about releasing the coal so you no longer burn. Regret is not about pretending mistakes never happened. It is about seeing clearly that the past cannot be undone and choosing not to live chained to it. Let us pause for a moment. Take a breath. Inhale deeply. Now imagine you are exhaling all that no longer serves you. The clutter in the closet, the clutter in the mind, the clutter in the heart. Each breath out is a small release. Each breath in is a fresh space for peace. Ask yourself, if my life were a room, is it filled with dust and shadows, or is it open, spacious, light? Because your inner room will feel like the rooms you live in. Simplify one, and you simplify the other. Do not confuse simplicity with emptiness. An uncluttered life is not barren. It is spacious like a clear sky free of clouds. It allows the sun to shine unhindered, like a quiet pond without ripples. It reflects truth more clearly. And here lies a profound truth. The more you release, the more you realize you never needed so much to begin with. A few clothes, a few meaningful objects, a few precious memories, and beyond that, space. Space is not lack. Space is freedom. Remember how the Buddha and his monks traveled with only a bowl and a robe, not because poverty was the goal, but because freedom was. With little to carry, they could walk anywhere, stay anywhere, meet anyone, and remain light. Their example is not a demand that you give up everything, but an invitation. How much of what you own is actually owning you? At 70, the question becomes urgent. How many days remain? Do you wish to spend them dusting shelves, organizing drawers, carrying grudges? Or do you wish to spend them breathing freely, walking lightly, resting in peace? So here is the practice. Choose one thing today to let go of. One object, one memory, one regret. Release it. Feel the space it leaves behind. This is how the great uncluttering begins. Not all at once, but breath by breath, object by object, thought by thought. And know this, Every act of release is an act of compassion. Compassion for yourself, for your body, for your mind. You are giving yourself room to rest, to breathe, to live without unnecessary weight. So, let this be your mantra. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Objects, grudges, regrets, release them all. And in their absence, discover the presence of peace. Part 7. The fear of aging itself. Pause for a moment and place your hand on your face. Feel the lines etched into your skin, the softness where once there was firmness, the weight of years written in every wrinkle. Society tells you this is decline, that aging is something to hide, to resist, to fear. But what if the lines on your face are not signs of loss at all? What if they are sacred scriptures, written by time, each one a verse of your survival, each one a stanza of your becoming? The Buddha taught that life is marked by 4 inevitable truths: birth, aging, sickness, and death. These are not curses but realities, and truth is not the enemy. Denial is. When we fear aging, we are not fearing reality itself. We are fearing the story we have been told about it. We fear irrelevance, we fear weakness, we fear being left behind. But these are illusions, not destiny. Think about this. How many never reach 70? How many were taken in youth, their lives cut short before their wisdom could blossom? For them, every gray hair you bear would be a miracle. Every laugh line on your face would be a treasure. Aging is not a punishment, it is a privilege. And yet our culture sells the opposite story endless. Creams, surgeries, promises that you can reverse the clock. But the Dharma does not tell us to reverse the clock. It tells us to read the clock rightly. Every tick, every tock is a gift. Every year is a layer of understanding. Aging is not moving toward nothingness. It is moving toward fullness, toward ripening, toward clarity. Ask yourself, what is truly more frightening? Wrinkles on the skin or emptiness in the heart? Which is the real loss? The fading of physical beauty or the fading of curiosity, compassion, and joy? The body will change inevitably, but the spirit can grow deeper, richer, wiser, even as the body bends and slows. In Buddhist tradition, there is a teaching called anicca impermanence. Everything that arises will pass. Flowers bloom, then wither. The moon waxes, then wanes. Seasons turn. And so too, our bodies. But here is the secret. Impermanence is not tragedy. Impermanence is what allows life to be precious. If everything stayed the same forever, would anything have meaning? It is because we change, because time leaves its mark, that life shines with poignancy and value. Consider a tree in autumn. Its leaves turn gold, red, brown. Some say the tree is dying, but others see its most beautiful season. Why do we not see ourselves the same way? At 70, you are not decaying. You are entering the autumn of life glowing with colors of experience that no springtime youth can display. And yet fear creeps in. Fear of dependence, fear of irrelevance, fear of the unknown. But the Buddha taught that fear arises from clinging to illusions. You fear aging only when you cling to youth. You fear weakness only when you cling to strength. You fear death only when you cling to permanence. Let go, and the fear dissolves. Think of the Buddha's calm in the face of sickness and death. He did not deny them. He did not resist them. He accepted them as natural expressions of existence. And in that acceptance, he found freedom. You too can find freedom, not by pretending you will not age, but by embracing aging as the profound teacher it is. Ask yourself, what has age already given you? Patience born from trials, perspective born from decades of change, gratitude born from seeing how fragile life is. At 20, we rush. At 40, we strive. But at 70, if we allow it, we can finally rest. We can walk slowly enough to see the flower at our feet. We can listen deeply enough to hear the silence beneath the noise. Do you remember the first time you saw a sunrise as a child? It was dazzling, overwhelming. At 70, the sunrise is no less beautiful. In fact, it may be more so, because now you know how many sunrises you will not see. The scarcity makes it luminous. This is the gift of aging, appreciation sharpened by impermanence. So how do we let go of the fear of aging? Begin by changing the story. Instead of telling yourself, "I am fading," say, "I am ripening." Instead of saying, "My time is almost gone," say, "My time is finally my own." Instead of mourning the years behind you, celebrate the wisdom they carved into your soul. Practice gratitude for the marks of age. Touch your wrinkles and whisper, "These are the maps of laughter I have lived." Touch your gray hair and say, "These are the banners of storms I have survived." Every scar, every ache, every line is a testimony. You lived, you endured, you are still here. And here is the paradox. When you stop fearing age, you stop aging in the way the world imagines. The body may grow older, but the spirit grows younger. Curiosity keeps you alive. Humility keeps you open. Compassion keeps you radiant. Fear contracts the heart. Acceptance expands it. Let us breathe together. Inhale, acknowledging change. Exhale, releasing fear. Inhale, honoring the years behind. Exhale, welcoming the years ahead. Each breath is a small death of the old and a small birth of the new. And so every breath is proof that aging is not the end, it is a continuation. The Buddha once said, "Better to live one day with wisdom than 100 years in ignorance." What greater wisdom is there than to see aging not as decline, but as Dharma unfolding? So release the fear, embrace the privilege, walk proudly into the season of autumn, knowing that it is not darkness you are approaching, but harvest. And in that harvest, you will find freedom. Closing, walking lighter into liberation. We've walked through 7 gates together today. 7 invitations to release what no longer serves you. Toxic relationships that drain your spirit. The expectation that others will make you happy. The weight of past regrets. The illusion that it's too late to begin again. The burden of comparison. The clutter filling your spaces and your heart. And the fear of aging itself. Each one, when released, creates space. Space for breath. Space for peace. Space for the life that's still waiting to be lived. The Buddha's teaching on letting go isn't about loss, it's about liberation. When we hold life with open hands instead of clenched fists, we discover that we lose nothing. We simply reclaim the freedom to be fully present, fully alive, fully ourselves. At 60, at 70, at 80, you stand at a threshold, not an ending, but a ripening. The Dharma teaches that later life isn't decline, it's harvest season. All those decades of experience, all that accumulated wisdom can finally bloom when you release the weight that's been holding it down. So I leave you with this gentle invitation. Choose one thing today, just one. One relationship to create distance from. One expectation to release. One regret to finally forgive. One cluttered drawer to clear. One new beginning to try. Just one, because the path to peace isn't walked in giant leaps. It's walked in small, tender steps, one letting go at a time. As the Buddha said, by letting go, it all gets done. The world is won by those who let it go. May you walk lighter. May you breathe easier. And may you discover that the happiness you've been seeking has been waiting for you all along, not in what you add, but in what you finally find the courage to release. If this message touched something in you today, I'd love to hear your reflections in the comments below. And if you're ready to continue this journey of wisdom with us, subscribe to Quiet Wisdom for more Dharma teachings for everyday life. Until we meet again, be gentle with yourself. You're doing better than you think.